Okay, it's recording. So, I don't really make YouTube videos that much. I throw small stuff up here and there about what's going on, but figured I'd show this. So I bought this Cobra. It's a 99 Rio Red convertible off a friend. Motor's toast. So far, I'm not sure what's wrong with it. I think it hydrolocked. What happened was he was driving it in the rain, and it completely, he said it like almost made like a bang and then it stopped. The motor does turn over, but only partially. It takes like a revolution, maybe another half after that, and then it just stops. Yeah, so I think it hydrolocked. Hopefully there's not a lot of damage. We'll see how much it's gonna cost to fix this thing. I'm gonna get in front of the camera real quick. So the reason why I think it hydrolocked is, you can probably see JLT intake right here. Obviously it sits way down in here. So it goes into the intake right here, it sits way down in there, and the filter sits on the mat like this, and it hangs way down, like almost underneath the front fender. So I'm thinking it definitely got water in it. There seems to be like some almost like white stuff on this aluminum. It almost looks like maybe that was some water at one time. I'm not sure, yeah, it's all in here a little bit. But yeah, I think it sucked in water. It's been sitting for, I don't know how long this car's been sitting for, at least since I've known him, which has probably been like a year and a half now. Yeah, I bought it off him because he did not have the time to fix it. Being that I've already been through an engine with my Black Cobra and I built it, blah, blah, blah. I was like, you know what, let me fix this thing. This thing's honestly too nice to just sit around. Other than it really needed convertible top and, you know, maybe a little clean on the outside and on the inside, it's really not that bad. Like, it's got no, like almost no rust anywhere on it. It's a Florida car. He moved up here from Florida. So, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I bought it. Another is I knew that I could fix it and he just didn't have the time to. There's some stuff that I found that I'll probably put in this video. I found at least one sketchy thing so far, and it was that the rear shocks were not tightened down at all. Like the bushing that sits on top where it comes through the shock tower in the rear, they weren't tightened down at all. So like I could move the entire shock with my hand up top. The driver's side was loose, the passenger side was worse. I was like, there's no doubt there was like some squeaking and stuff like that because of the rubber mounts. But anyway, I'll throw that video in. I made a short video showing that to just show my dad. Speaking of him, I actually bought this car to build it for him because he's never owned a V8, and you know, I kind of want him to know what that's like to own a V8, and I feel that I can basically do a stock rebuild on this engine and fix a few small things here and there, and he can just drive around and enjoy it on nice days. Yeah, so I think that's about the backstory with this car. I said 99 Rio Red, yeah. So thankfully the car's like mostly stock, which is nice. That'll be good for him. He's not really someone that likes to work on cars like I do. He's more like he can work on small things here and there, like he can change the oil, he can rotate tires, stuff like that. But he's not like someone like me that, like, you know, I want to spend my weekends working on cars almost. So really more of a stock car, not really modifying it, is going to be best for him. I did find out this car does have some mods that I didn't know about when I bought it. It does have a clutch quadrant in it. It has I think that's a BBK firewall adjuster. It's blue. It's BBK or UPR. I can't exactly remember. I did find that this transmission actually at one time was rebuilt by Promotion in Florida. Supposedly it was a rebuild / an upgrade to handle about 500 horsepower. That's what I found in the documentation that he provided me with the car. So that's awesome. I also found that at one time, the first owner of this, because I believe I'm the third, actually did subframe bushings in the rear for at least some of the subframe. I'm not sure if it was all of it or why specifically they did that. Maybe they were going out. Sometime in the mid-2000s, I think he did that. Either that or maybe it was in partial IRS upgrade kit. You know, I know these have full bushing kits from like Full Tail Boogie and Modular Motorsports. So that's cool. Caster camber plates, as you can see, I think the shocks at one time have been replaced. There's a battery relocation to the trunk. It honestly was not done very well. As you can maybe see here, it's just kind of, if you look, yeah, so not the best job right here. But we're gonna fix all that. I'm probably gonna move the battery back to the front. I could get the camera back down in a good spot. Okay, hopefully it's in a good spot. But yeah, I'm gonna try and I'm probably gonna move the camera back to, the battery back to the front. I don't really like a battery relocation in the rear. It's really not gonna do anything for like weight savings and shit like that, or weight distribution, sorry, not savings. But I'll probably move it up here because it's just so much easier to deal with. And I don't want my dad to get stranded somewhere and then, you know, he tries to jump it, and like you could jump it from here, but excuse me, yeah, I don't want him to deal with that, and I want him to deal with changing the battery and it being in the trunk, and I want him to have a full trunk that works, that he can use all the time. That's one of the things that I really like about these cars, is that the trunks are actually pretty big, not very tall, but they are fairly wide, so you can fit quite a lot in these cars, surprisingly. You know, people do like the whole like golf bag check. I don't have golf bags, so I can't test that, but yeah, they're actually decently sized trunks even with a convertible top. Mine's only even a little bit better because mine's a coupe. But yeah, so far it thankfully looks like not a lot of the wiring was messed with. We did try and fix some stuff with the CCRM. Someone at one time had tried to bypass like several of the relays in the CCRM and wire in their own relays from there, and they got rusty and corroded, and they got destroyed. I'd show you, but they were we already sort of fixed it, and then we threw them out. So now it's back to like the stock wiring. I say stock because we put like connectors and heat shrink on them just to see if we could to put that to stock, so it doesn't look completely stock, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I have no idea why they would do that, because it doesn't seem like they did it for any reason to, like, you know, take control of the fans or the AC or whatever. Maybe they thought the CCRM at one point was going bad. I have no idea why they would do that. Because a new CCRM is like $100 or $110 or something. It's cheaper to find one new or used for one of these cars than to go through and try and rewire relays that, you know, are just going to end up rusted and corroded. Because there's no fender liner over here, which is partially why I think it sucked in water and hydrolocked. Along with the relays that were just hanging there by the wires, getting rusted and corroded, which is great, obviously. But it's all somewhat better. There is some rust on small things, like a little bit on the balancer, a little bit a tiny bit on the center hub of the water pump. A couple of the pulleys don't sound that great, but you know, the pulley's cheap, to be honest, to replace. Alternator spin's fine, doesn't really make a lot of noise. I think this power steering pulley's also fine. I don't think there's any power steering fluid. Oh, there is. Wow, there's actually some fluid in it. Yeah, the brakes felt like there was nothing. So, yeah, there's not shit in there, I don't think. Let me have a look with my light. It's like fairly dry. Yeah, I was like, I mean, when we were pushing this thing and I was trying to use the brakes, I had to use the damn handbrake because the brakes like went almost to the floor and it didn't feel like it was slowing the car down. There's also like no coolant in this damn thing. What I'm hoping is that the coolant evaporated and it didn't do something where it ended up eating the coolant, because that would suck. That would mean the block and heads maybe need to get resurfaced. If that's even going to be reasonably cheap, probably not. But you know, if I can get my fucking light back down, that's just, you know, it's unfortunately just how it is. If it's going to be that way. Yeah, just checking the tension on that, but yeah. So, yeah, the convertible top was needless to say, an absolute mess. There was a hole in it, and there was water sitting all like inside where the leather is. to stop water from getting in, which it did its job, but there's not supposed to be water and stuff sitting in there. So it's going to need mostly the new top, at least the back glass. It was a glass rear and not a plastic rear, because it does have the connectors for a rear defrost. And there's a spider coming down from my from the roof in my garage. Anyway, so yeah, this thing's a project. Hopefully we'll dig in. I'm going to dig into it a little bit. See if I'm probably going to pull the intake manifold and fuel lines today. It's raining outside, so I would do a lot of stuff outside and drain a lot of fluids and stuff for what's left of them. But currently I kind of can't because it's raining and it's going to rain all fucking day today, which sucks. So tomorrow maybe we'll push it out on the driveway, drain a lot of the fluids, and then see what else we can disconnect and maybe start pulling the engine and transmission out. That'd be quite a lot to do in only one day of being outside. I was kind of hoping that it wouldn't rain today, because maybe I could have gotten all that done today and tomorrow. But, you know, is what it is. I can't control the weather. Anyway, maybe I'll reposition you guys, and you guys can get a look at me pulling off the intake manifold.